Amazon shares plunged 95%. Is the company in trouble? Amazon is one of those companies that it's hard to imagine what our lives would be like if it didn't exist. You may not know it, but the company was founded in 1994, more than 20 years ago. The company started as a small online shop in a world where the internet was a niche that not everyone had access to. The rest of the story we already know. The internet eventually became a human right, and Amazon managed to grow to make its founder the richest man in the world for a considerable time. On the other side of this story, we have stocks and Wall Street. It's a bit more complicated to explain for all audiences, but I'll assume you at least understand the basics. How are these two things related? Relax, we're going to explain it in a way that anyone can understand. Amazon really needs no introduction. I'm pretty sure, and I would even bet that anyone watching this video has heard of the company or has directly bought something from the site. It's quite natural. For 7 years, Amazon has been offering us the possibility to buy online and receive those packages at our doorstep without much hassle. The rare thing would be to have never used the site. And so it's not surprising that Amazon has ventured into other commercial niches, such as games or streaming services, being successful in some of these projects and not so successful in others. Still, it wouldn't be fair to take credit away from the company for all that it's managed to expand. When it was announced that Jeff Bezos, the company's founder, would become the richest man in the world, surpassing Microsoft founder Bill Gates, no one really questioned it. His fortune is currently valued at $187 billion, a figure many of us could only dream of. And yet, he was recently overtaken by Elon Musk, the tech genius, and that's not an issue we're concerned with today. So why do we talk so much about Amazon's fortune and influence? The answer is simple, because it will help you understand why the following news is so shocking. Amazon shares plunged 95%. Is the company in trouble? On Monday, June 6th of this year, we came across news that would shock anyone involved, at least a little in the business world. The shares of multi-billion-dollar powerhouse Amazon plummeted by 95%. To give you an idea, the last time the company's shares were this low was in 1999, 23 years ago, when Amazon was just a shadow of the giant it is today. At first glance, anyone would think that Amazon might be in trouble, but is that true? Maybe this is the company's plan and part of something bigger. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Relax, because we have all the answers. This drop in the stock is part of a popular stock market movement called a split. So what is this move? Again, don't worry, because we're going to explain it to you right now. So, what the hell is a split? Before we begin, it should be explained that splitting is often a risky and costly move, requiring significant legal oversight, board approval, and even a board vote. It is therefore natural to assume that the gains from this move can be quite large, right? We'll talk about that. For now, let's answer another question. How does the split up work? Basically, a demerger or stock split occurs when a company increases the number of shares outstanding in order to increase its liquidity as well. The number of shares increases and the company's capital remains unchanged as the price of each share is split. Do you understand? If not, let's try to put it in a simpler way. Basically, the value of each share is decreased and the number of shares is increased. At the same time, the monetary proportion of each share is respected. I hope you've managed to understand at least a little of this movement. I'm sure you're now asking yourself, and what are the reasons that lead a company to make a spinoff? Curious? Because that's what I'm going to answer. But before I answer that question, I must ask you that if you got to this part of the video and you're liking today's content, why not leave your like so that the video can be recommended to more people? That way, others can access and explore the various videos on the channel. Ready for that thumbs up? Alright, let's move on. Why did Amazon decide to do a stock split? Most companies decide to do a liquidity split when shares reach a point where they are simply not accessible to most investors. Making this move allows them to increase the number of investors as they can be bought for less. This is not the only reason, as it can also help increase capitalization by renewing interest for new investors. Oh, and in rare cases, companies reduce the price of their shares to meet an index requirement. So what's the motive behind Amazon's decision? Probably a mixture of all the above. We're all aware of the power and the amount of money Amazon wields. It would not be strange to imagine that its shares went up so much that it decided to lower the price to seek new investors. And so, we're left with only one question to answer. In the end, is Amazon in trouble or not? This is going to be a fairly short point. If you've been paying attention, you should already know the answer, but we're still going to confirm it. No, Amazon is not in trouble, and this drop in its stock was actually intentional. The company was simply looking to expand further, although knowing its volume, that sounds a bit difficult. Before closing the video, we'd like to ask you some questions, as we'd love to know your opinion on this news. What do you think is the real reason for the share price drop? Do you think it's the right time for Amazon to make a split? Don't forget to respond in the comments box. And that concludes today's video. Leave your comments on the video, and if you'd like to see a specific topic covered in the channel, you can also leave your suggestions below. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. See you next time.